The war in Ukraine continues with full intensity. July 16th, 2026. Nowhere to go, circling in place. A Russian soldier trying to shake a drone that matches every turn. Weapon in hand, but no clean moment to use it. The drone connects, and that's where it ends. No weapon this time, just hands and whatever's on the ground. Torn gear, barely holding together. A soldier who's clearly been through worse before this even started. He falls, gets back up, falls again. At one point, he throws a handful of dirt at the drone, like that might actually do something. Minutes of this, back and forth, until there's nothing left to try. The drone gets there in the end. A soldier pulling a bag over himself under a tree, settling in to rest. The drone finds him anyway. There's no safe moment to sleep on this front. Lying flat in the trench, not moving, certain the drone hasn't found him. Reconnaissance had already marked the position long before the FPV arrived. He keeps waiting. The drone closes the distance. He stays exactly where he is until the very end. 3 Russian soldiers spotted by thermal reconnaissance drones in southern Donetsk, entering a building they've turned into a position. The thermal camera tracks every movement. 2 heavy munitions drop directly onto the structure in quick succession. A complete collapse. No realistic chance of surviving 2 strikes like that at close range. A soldier on a motorbike, drone right in front of him. No time to react, no room to maneuver. Direct hit. 2 Russian soldiers taking cover in a crater, exhausted, clearly worn down. An FPV drone closes in. One of them opens fire, trying to bring it down before it reaches them. Shot after shot. None of them connect. The first drone strikes him directly. A massive explosion. The second soldier picks up where he left off, firing at the next drone coming in. Same result. He can't stop it either. The crater that was supposed to protect them becomes the place neither of them walks out of. A Ukrainian 414th Brigade reconnaissance drone spotting a Russian soldier in the Zaporizhzhia direction, alone, far from his position, unknowingly just a few hundred meters from Ukrainian lines. The drone tracks him for a long stretch before an FPV is sent in. He spots it and opens fire. None of the shots connect. The drone reaches him before he can change that. Most have already abandoned these positions, and what's left behind shows why. Drone after drone moving in on the soldiers who stayed. Breaking from cover, running, no real way to fight back. No position that holds for long. The trench that was supposed to be a defensive line has become the most exposed place on this front. Not shelter anymore, just a location the drone already knows about. A Russian soldier doing the opposite of running, charging straight toward the drone. Whatever the instinct behind that move, it doesn't end well. A Russian Su-24M strike aircraft caught on the ground at Saky airbase in Crimea while being prepared for takeoff. Ukraine's Hornet attack drones reach it before it leaves the runway. The aircraft never gets airborne. Open ground, midday. A Russian soldier wearing an anti-thermal suit designed to mask body heat from thermal imaging drones. Ukraine's Magyar's Birds operator closes in fast. The suit doesn't help here. This is a daylight operation, and the drone is already locked on before he can react. The anti-thermal camouflage that was supposed to make him harder to find makes no difference against what's already coming. 2 heavily modified Russian tanks in the Pokrovsk direction, barely recognizable under layers of added armor and camouflage, everything bolted on to try to survive what's hunting them from above. Ukraine's 59th Assault Brigade operators work through each one, targeting critical points through the improvised shielding. It's harder than a standard strike, but both tanks are eventually stopped. All that extra armor, all that preparation, and 2 FPV drones still do the job. That's where armored warfare stands right now. Ukrainian soldiers moving by vehicle toward their position. A Russian FPV drone finds them mid-route. They bail out immediately. Ukrainian soldiers moving by vehicle toward their position. A Russian FPV drone finds them mid-route. They bail out immediately. This is what the front looks like right now. This time, a shotgun does the job. Ukrainian soldiers bring the drone down. Six, 7 shots before one finally connects. A target this small, moving this fast, isn't an easy hit, even at close range. Shotgun, rifle, something else entirely. What would you use to bring one down? Ukraine's Atamaka drone unit locking down the Pokrovsk direction all day. New soldiers arriving at the front, intercepted before reaching their positions. Vehicles taken out before completing their routes. Hangars cleared out. One by one, every target that enters this sector gets found. The combination of constant aerial coverage and methodical strikes means Russia can't rotate, resupply, or reinforce here without paying for it immediately. Ukraine's SBU deploying Mamai unmanned surface vessels in the Black Sea, striking 2 Shadow Fleet tankers, Louise 1 and Banda, both under international sanctions. Louise 1 alone transported nearly 3 million tons of Russian crude oil in 2026, moving it from Baltic and Black Sea ports with its tracking system switched off. Banda was doing the same from Ust-Luga, Kerch, and Novorossiysk. Russian aviation tried to intercept the drones, machine gun fire, bombs dropped. None of it worked. Every tanker hit is direct pressure on the revenue stream funding this war. A rocket launch system tucked into position along the Kupiansk direction, the kind of weapon built to hit multiple targets fast from well behind the front. Ukraine's 77th Airmobile Brigade finds it with drones before it fires another round. One strike, and the system that was supposed to hit nearby towns doesn't get the chance. Ukraine's 66th Mechanized Brigade on patrol in the Lyman direction. Any Russian vehicle moving through this sector gets an immediate response. An armored vehicle, a car, whatever comes through. No warnings. Whatever enters this sector doesn't make it to the other side. Ukraine's State Border Guard Service infiltrating a Russian position in the Pridneprovskaya direction. A D-30 howitzer, a Bukanka van, 2 trucks, and a fortified shelter with personnel inside, all targeted in the same operation. Drone after drone, working through the position systematically. A full sweep of everything Russia had set up in this sector, cleared in one operation. Reconnaissance footage over the Lyman direction, and what it shows is what this front actually looks like now. Fiber optic drone cables covering the entire contact line and the terrain around it for kilometers. Every one of those cables is the trail of a drone that came through. This is the texture of modern warfare, not just soldiers and vehicles, but an invisible web of guided strikes running through every field and tree line. Camouflage nets, branches, whatever they could find. Artillery and self-propelled guns, tucked away and hidden well. It doesn't hold up. Drone crews work through the list one at a time, each position found regardless of how well it's covered. Fire support that was supposed to back up the front line goes quiet, one gun at a time. 11 more vessels in a single night. 5 tankers, a gas carrier, 3 cargo ships, 2 tugboats, all part of the same sanctioned fleet. Since this operation started 10 days ago, the total climbs to 147 vessels, split almost evenly between the Azov and Black Sea. What makes this different? The goal isn't to sink these ships outright. No hull breaches, no oil spilling into the water. Instead, engines and electronics get disabled, turning each vessel into dead weight, drifting and useless. That distinction matters. These tankers exist specifically to move sanctioned oil while dodging international restrictions. Cutting the fleet down slows fuel and cargo reaching Crimea without the environmental cost of a spill. 11 tonight, 147 total, and the number keeps climbing every few days. One after another, they keep coming down. Molniya 2S, cheap and mass-produced, meant to overwhelm whatever's watching the sky. Ukraine's Omega Special Forces run the intercept using Odin interceptors, purpose-built for exactly this kind of chase, faster and sharper in the turn than what they're hunting down. Each Molniya carries enough payload to do real damage on the ground. That's what makes every intercept here matter. Watch the compilation closely. Same pattern, different angle, every single time it ends the same way. Russian FAB heavy bombs striking a Ukrainian settlement in Kharkiv region. A pattern that's become more frequent as the ground war stalls. When artillery and drone pressure isn't moving the line, Russia turns to heavier air-delivered munitions instead. It's a sign of limited options, not overwhelming strength. What you just watched is happening every single day. Soldiers trapped in trenches, tank crews surrounded by improvised armor that still isn't enough, supply routes that keep getting cut. As of today, July 16th, Russia's total combat losses approach 1.4 million personnel. France announced 16 Rafale fighter jets for Ukraine, delivery from 2028, with pilot training starting immediately. An anti-ballistic coalition launched between Ukraine and 9 European countries to build a continent-wide missile shield. Ukraine's defense minister was dismissed today as part of a government reshuffle. The battlefield is changing fast, and the support behind it is changing with it. Russia keeps sending men forward. Ukraine keeps finding them. Drop a comment. What changes most for this war in the next 6 months?